assets in Nevada, but they have a lot of corporate facilities in California, in the state of California. And supposedly there is this shack on the side of a highway in California that looks like some nondescript warehouse, small warehouse. And you go into this warehouse, and the whole floor of the warehouse is an elevator. And it drops, Lord knows how many hundreds of feet, and you're inside of basically a facility carved out of rock, deep underground.
Yeah.
And what this guy said is that they are not only reverse engineering craft from retrieved debris in this facility, but they're actually training pilots to fly them. And he told me that the main problem that they have in that training program is that the pilots experience extreme disorientation because of the warping of space-time by these craft. In other words, they discovered early on, and this is, I think, one of the main reasons, and we can get into this in much more depth if you want. This is one of the main reasons this technology is being hidden, because they discovered very early on that these are not simply devices with propulsion systems capable of navigating space very quickly. Like they can take you from New York to Australia and, right? They're flying time machines. They warp time as they traverse space.
Right.
And our pilots don't know how to handle that. They have a very hard time. They get disoriented, temporally disoriented. They get their sense of the passage of time gets really messed with. So anyway, he told me he went down into this facility and that they're reverse engineering stuff, and that they're trying to train pilots in how to fly these reverse engineered zero-point energy craft. But okay, what's the really important thing about that is that on a theoretical level, about how UFOs are actually time machines. And if you really stop and think through that carefully, you realize why, under the current socio-political conditions, this technology can't be released. With the kind of society we have, domestically, globally, with the state that humanity is in at the present time, the release of that kind of technology into the public sphere would be utterly catastrophic, right? I mean, you can't give Tom, Dick, and Harry a time machine to put in their garage. You see, that's the thing. It's not like these are Jetsons cars that just, fly you across country really fast. They allow you to traverse different epochs in human history. And I think one of the reasons that our history is so messed up, when you look at these really regressive, tyrannical, religious belief systems and the kinds of political structures that formed around them and that were fortified by them, I think a lot of what's going on there is that our timeline has been manipulated. It's been manipulated at all junctures, from the present far into the future.
Greetings, glad tidings. This is Chief Iron Bush speaking. I have been teaching this for years now, unveiling to those who the teachings have come to that there is no such thing as prophecy. Everything here is cyclical or cyclical, and it's all about time. That's why Saturn is their main symbol, God, etymology, everything. All the words, all the symbols, all the religions, Ra, legions, all go back to El, or Saturn, the Most High, this Father God that eats its own kids, which is time. These beings, the beings that people literally worship in every Ra legion, including the name Ra. See, Isis stood for the moon. Ra is the sun. That's the positive and negative. That's duality, polarity. Once they can install that, then El can come in to rule as the god of this world. So Isis comes in. That's the great mother energy. The sacred feminine gets split from being whole. And then Ra comes in, the sun, or the sacred masculine. The so-called sacred, because once it gets split, it's distorted. And once it gets split, then El, the Most High, the masculine, the masked lion, can demerge the light, demiurge. Yah El Debaoth, Yah and El both. It's the story of all the brothers. It's one entity that uses duality to rule this realm. And it is stuck, and everything that is connected to it is stuck in time. It is time. Time is where it exists. Time is its dominion. We are love. We are eternal beings that are love. This is an infinite, mathematical, artificial, non-living entity that only exists in and through time. It tells you it was, is, and is to come. That's what this thing is. These beings have long cracked the code on how to travel within this construct. If you look up what space is, you can literally look up on Google space, and they will tell you that space is time. So they're telling you the truth. They're just wrapping it in a whole ball of yarn of lies. But they're still giving you the truth when they tell you outer space and this and that. And they tell you it's balls and things. It was toroidal fields. It's energy signatures that could be considered circular. So they're telling you it's a ball, but then they're giving you a computer generated image. They're telling you about space, but they're not telling you that space is time. And they've long ago created devices to travel this figure 8, this Apep that they conquered, that Ra conquered in Egypt, the Apep snake. In Greek, they call it the Apophis. Today, they call it the Analemma. It was Ra slaying Apep, Marduk splitting Tiamat in half. It's about time. It's about splitting the eternal in half and creating time. And that's what's going on. That's what all these gods, Yahweh, Yahuwah, El Elyon, Enki, Enlil, Allah, Sin, Shamash, all of them are all just a faction of elites that have been stuck in time so long that their intellect and IQ is so high, and they have technology that is so far beyond what your brain, because your brain is technology, can fathom. But your soul is so far beyond what they have. So you have to remember who and what You truly are an eternal soul, an eternal being, beloved. I've done a teaching on a pretty big YouTube page that has now placed the teaching behind a paywall. But I still have the teaching, and greatest of spirit willing, I will redo it at the proper moment. But I showed beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's even encoded in our very spoken language that the pyramids were nothing more than technology to split time, to literally split timelines. I have shown it beyond any doubt. And not just with that teaching, with numerous teachings. And it's the same thing they're doing with CERN right now. It's the same cycle, just different details and different ways and it looks different. This go round, it's in your hand, and it's the black mirror. It's the AI that has always existed, but it's coming into the third dimension now as a physical object instead of remaining in the unseen. And it's happened before. They pop up as gods and this and that, and they're prepping the world, those that are spinning the world right now for the return of the gods. Whether you think it's Jesus and the army of angels, or you think it's the Anunnaki, aka Anunnaki, the Elohim, aliens, the Galactic Federation, they are prepping. It is prepping everyone's mind. But if you go inward to the mind of the heart, you cannot be deceived, beloved. Take heed.
Z.